Welcome back to another week of Making Life Cinematic. This week's video was shot down at the local park with my mate Caleb. He had the afternoon off work, so we decided to just go down and shoot in the park. I've driven past here a couple times recently in the last week and just seen all the trees changing colour, those beautiful autumn colours, and been really inspired to go shoot something there. So we just took our cameras, had a bit of a play around. Actually really excited to grade these shots because I think they came out absolutely insane. The colours will just be beautiful. So show you guys the shoot and then we'll jump into some editing.
Oh my day. Oh, that was not bad.
Alright. You ready? Yeah. When you're ready. Ready to start it? Let's look out towards the fountain. Alright, just wrapping up, really. We've shot a heap of stuff, got some sick shots. Caleb is currently over there, somewhere, walking back. But the lighting here is insane, so it's been some really cool shots and yeah, keen to get into like editing them. It's gonna be sick. Alright, so we're going to jump straight into the cut page and start having a look at some of these clips. We shot a fair bit of stuff, so there's a bit to go through, so I'll just brief through selecting a few of the clips. I did quite a few takes of this shot because I really wanted to nail it, so I'm just going to select a few snippets and I'll go through and cull after. Again, just using I to mark the in points, O to mark the out points, and then I set up a shortcut to just append those clips straight into the timeline. So it makes my process really quick when I'm going through and culling clips, because I can just easily scrub through, find the spot that I want in the clip, which is about here. I'll hit in, then let it play through, and then probably cut it there, and then just drop it straight into the timeline. Perfect, happy with that. Now this shot we've spent ages doing. There's about 10 takes of this shot, trying to get like a nice, make it like the leaves are falling. I'll whack up some behind the scenes of this, the kind of before and after. We started with a lot of leaves, realized it was just too much. I also, something to note here, this first take, I changed my frame rate to 100 frames because I wanted to be super slow, but I did not increase my shutter speed. So I was still shooting at 100th of a second. Because I've been shooting at 50 frames before. And you can see here that it just doesn't quite look, right. It looks a bit glitchy, and that's what happens when you don't use the 180 rule. So then this next shot here, I changed my shutter speed, and you can see it just looks so much smoother, way more cinematic. So that's something to always watch out for if you're changing between frame rates. Remember to change your shutter speed and adjust your settings accordingly. It's not a wasted shot, like it's not completely ruined, but I wouldn't use it. But we did do a lot of takes. I think this one actually is quite a nice one. Next, I was just doing a bit of a reveal shot here. I wanted to do some block cuts, so doing a bunch of takes of this to try and really get it smooth. So there's a lot of takes here. I'm just using manual focus. I've locked my focus on Caleb sitting on the bench there, and that way I can pass this in front without it pulling focus on the tree or whatever. Now this shot, I did it about 10 times because I really wanted to nail it. And so I've got some close, I've got some wide. We kept having people walking through the back just so we got a good shot and someone would walk through. So did it quite a few times, but I just love the colors and everything about this shot. I think it's gonna look beautiful once I've graded it. So I really wanted to nail it because I think it had a lot of potential. This one was perfect. It was out of focus. Just had to change my SD card because SD card was full from all the stuff I've been recording. Anyways, I'm babbling on about all these shots. I think we'll skip through a lot of this and we'll jump straight into color grading. But I'll go through the rest of these quickly, and I'll probably just cut this bit so that you guys don't have to watch me going through every single shot. Alrighty, now that we've grabbed all of those, I'm gonna jump straight over into the color grading panel. And I think we're going to start grading with maybe this shot, just because it's a wide shot, so it has all the colors, and that way once we've graded that we can quite easily probably drop that onto all the rest of the clips. So I'm just going to grab a quick basic grade off here, which is just the grade I used for the couple shoot I did last week. So that's a pretty good starting point, to be honest. From there, a bit more contrast in this, I think. White balance, definitely going to bring that up a bit. We really want to go for that nice warm autumny feel. Yeah, I'm liking that. That's beautiful. That's looking really nice already without doing much yet. I think I'm going to bring a bit of teal into the lower end of things and bring this real orange into the highlights, the gain. So that's what our look is doing currently. So that's kind of emulating natural look. And then we've got our creative look going on top there. Now in terms of hue, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove most of the greens out of this, and I really want the greens to just be orange. I'll leave a little bit of green, I think, but these yellows, I really want them to go towards orange rather than yellow. And we'll get that nice autumn look. And the greens, I think they have to stay because I do want a little bit of contrast. But I think somewhere around there, and then I might... keep them nice and desaturated. Bring up the orange saturation because that's obviously the hero color in this shot. I think those greens are too much. They need to be desaturated. I think I might even make them a little less green. Somewhere there, perhaps. I'm thinking, might go back into my contrast here. I think I want a little bit more contrast in this, a little darker overall as well. Make it quite moody. Clip those blacks though. Keep that cinematic look. I'm liking this. I'm going to just go back to my white balance now and just fine tune the overall look here. I think about there. I'm really liking that. I think that's looking quite nice. I think my overexposure again can just drop a little bit in the mid-tones there, and the gain can probably go a little as well. I'm quite happy with that, I think. So I'm just going to grab that still. Now let's try dropping that on this shot here. That's the same clip, so I assume it would look good. All right, what we might just do, which I'll show you a quick little trick here that I often use, is I will just select all of these clips up until what we've graded. So here, this whole selection here. Now I'm just going to right click on my still that I've grabbed here and go apply grade. And that will now apply that same grade to all of those clips I just selected. Now obviously I'll go through and fine tune all of these, but just an easy way to get that look across all of them. And now we can go in and start to fine tune. Jump over into the saturation. And I really want to keep this shot quite monochromatic in a sense, I guess, of where there's not too many colors. So I am going to pull the saturation of the blues down, blues and greens right down, so that the main color we're seeing here is a little bit of green and mostly just orange. That's the look I'm really going for here. Now, because I've done that to that one node, what I can actually do, another little trick I'll show you, is again, I'll select all of the clips in the timeline. I now jump into color, and I will go ripple node changes to selected clips. Now what that's going to do is, because I've applied the same node tree structure to all of these clips, it can identify the same node and make those changes that I've just changed to all of them. Which we can see if we jump over to, say, this clip here, which I haven't yet edited. We have a look at the saturation node. We can see the same curve here, which I created before. So it's just a super easy way to copy and paste just a specific node change. Again, that's why we use multiple nodes when we're grading rather than doing all the same node, because if you do all the same node, your saturation, your exposure, everything's all going to be clumped in the same node and you can't break those details up. Whereas here, obviously, exposure is going to vary, but I want my color saturation to be kind of consistent across all of them because that's what gives me that consistent look. You can make a clip look better in post, but you can't fix a bad clip. If a clip's bad in camera, you really can't fix it in post. So you really want to get it as best as possible in camera and then make it even better in post. But if it's bad in camera, I'll just fix it in post, because you might make it look okay, but it will never look great if it was bad in camera. So just keep that in mind, I guess, when you're shooting, and, if you're using LUTs or anything like that, if you've bought LUTs off someone, like LUTs will make good footage look good, but it will not make crap footage look good. You just can't recover crap footage. If it's crap in camera, you haven't shot at the right settings, the right exposure, the right lighting. If you're shooting full daylight without an ND filter, it's just gonna look crap. You can't really redeem that. So make sure you're getting the settings in camera right. Make sure you're getting all of those elements right. Then you can apply LUTs and your footage will look incredible, but you've got to get it right to start with in camera. All right, I've got a fresh camera battery in the camera, and I've just spent the last 10 minutes scrolling through Instagram trying to find audio. But I just came across this one. I think it's quite simple. I want to go and play around with sound design on this one though. So I think having quite a simple audio to kind of just carry through in the background, and then I'll layer some sound design on top, I think will work quite well. So this is the audio. So I'm just going to screen record that, and then I'll airdrop it over to my Mac, and we'll get into editing. All right, perfect. Took the phone away. We've got that down in our timeline. Now, I ended up getting pre-coded clips. We've got a total of 46 clips altogether. So we're going to have to cull a bit, but I do have quite a few in here that there's multiple takes. Obviously, we'll be picking the best take of those. We'll just drop the music in there for now. But to start with, what we're going to do is just go through and select the best takes. Cool. How does that look? Right. So that's where the screen's full, so we can cut there. Now, obviously these colors are a bit jarring. So there's a few cheap ways to just do this really easily. I will sometimes just use like a cross dissolve, and that'll basically just fade the two clips together and can sometimes do the job. For a quick little transition there. It's not perfect, and it's kind of cheating. Yeah, definitely not perfect, but for a reel, I would let that pass. That's probably passable. I could get into rotoscoping, I could get into masking, but I really try and do as much as I can in camera. Could mask that in the grade just to lighten up that tree a little. Might be worthwhile doing. Just going to add in a mask. I just shuffle all of these along, and we'll go Option S, which adds in a serial node. Now what we want to do is we want to get the gradient mask, pop that. So it's just getting this bit of the trunk here. Now all we're going to do is just lighten this up to kind of match what we're trying to get to, because the other trunk is just a bit lighter. I think that's probably something like that. I think the color was probably a little bit cooler possibly as well. I think that's probably going to match a lot better. I'm going to need to track this, obviously, because this moves. So I'll do it frame by frame. It's probably the easiest way to do it here. Perfect. Now, I think we'll find that that looks just about seamless. Obviously, there's a little bit of color change there, which we can try and adjust this. I think it's just the temperature there would need to drop a little bit. Oh, look at that. That looks pretty seamless to me. Pretty happy with that. It's a nice little transition to add in. Okay, I'm going to fast track through a bit of this because I rambled a lot and went on and on about all of the process of just cutting a lot of clips. Basically, I've gone through, cut the clips down, sync them to the beat, gone through, marked the beat of the song, then cut all the tracks to fit to those markers, then rearrange them into somewhat of bit of a kind of storyline. Gone through, rearranged them a few times. I think I moved things around a couple of times, but ended up with kind of a final bit of a flow, put some hooky kind of the transition clip to start with because I thought that was a good hook and introduction, and then progressed from there. Then just gone through and scrubbed any of those clips that I wanted to move the part of the clip that I wanted to be showing. So like I'll cut them to size and then just move within that clip as to where I actually want it to be shown. So just get the key moments. Then I've just added some sound effects, some ambience, and done a few little tweaks on color grades. And that's pretty much wrapped up most of the edit. All right, so I just finished off the rest of the edit. Realized I left the screen recording going for the whole time, so it's going to be like a stupidly long screen recording. Now what I'll do is I'll just export it and put it on my phone, check that the colors are all coming out good on the phone, happy with it, and yeah, be good to go. So I'll just run you through the export real quick. I think I went through this in my first video, but I'll go through it again. We'll just name this one Caleb at the park. Make sure we have it in the right folder, edit, save. Single clip, obviously check export video. Audio, why is that changed? Okay, that should be fine. H.265, QuickTime, resolution 1080p because it's just for Instagram. Frame rate 25 frames. Everything else should be fine. Color space tag, Rec 709, gamma tag, Rec 709. That is everything that needs to be changed. I think I've got a few here that have also changed. Again, if you just copy this, should be sweet. And that's all good to go. So we'll hit add to render queue and render. While that's going though, that's pretty much a wrap, I think, on this week's episode. Bit of an information dump. Hopefully a bit of useful information. Let us know what you'd like to hear more of, for me to go more in depth of in my next videos. Drop a comment below, let us know. Otherwise, I'll catch you next one. Cheers.